know tech, I can even spell API.
Am I making the same mistake?
This is going to sound a little direct.
Thank you.
This is the gap in WealthTech why it's broken.
So guys, strap in or log out.
The biggest red flag, a large proportion of our revenue was non-recurring. With all of these WealthTech little Frankenstein bits of code, then the VCs are like, oh, you're a services company. Oh my God, you nailed it. Shall we just shut down all of our custom clients? Just go all in on the product. We have money now, and I wasn't brave enough, man.
Trying to be cheaper, faster, better, all of it at the same time.
But that's not the reality of building great tech. He's raised hundreds of millions of dollars.
Poor choice by one player or one entrepreneur makes it difficult for everyone.
Sure.
Deliver it on a business model where you are carrying the risk. This bank with 100 billion of assets, who has now risked this whole project to you.
If you are taking risk up front as an entrepreneur and risk at the other end, you're going to get a beating. You give me $1, I'll dance however you like. If you find yourself in the middle path with a low-priced implementation for high level of customization, choose one war, one battle, your product sucks. No one cares about your product.
I'm in this seat today, and hindsight is a beautiful thing. How was this ever going to work out? And this brings us to a point that we are going to start this episode on. So this was a great intro. WealthTech is broken. B2B WealthTech. Let's clarify that part. We are talking about B2B WealthTech.
Truly
the
B2B.
B2C robos, etc. out there doing great. That episode is like, guys, we did 3 episodes on that. Please go and watch that. It takes a lot of effort to put this together. So now let's talk about the B2B WealthTech. Essentially a firm which has raised $21 million and has 25 enterprise customers.
Remember, 25 over the not all at the same time.
All at the same time. I agree. There is always iteration, etc. It is part of doing business, right? And you still couldn't make it through. Now, what that tells me is that fundamentally something is wrong with WealthTech as an ecosystem, B2B WealthTech. Now, we are going to go in and we are going to explore from 4 different angles. Mm-hmm. What should entrepreneurs be doing differently? What should customers be doing differently? What should investors be doing differently? And what can the ecosystem and regulators, etc., come in and do? So as I'm saying, this episode is not going to be easy for me, you, or any of the listeners, but we are hoping that it starts a much needed conversation into how you are going to enable this. How you're going to bring more challengers into B2B Wealth. So Ned, let me take you back on this journey. Let's start with the entrepreneur's part first. Mm-hmm. You obviously you had 2 conversations with 2 different gentlemen. You came in. This is the entrepreneurial part. What the entrepreneurs need to fix. Going back today, on day 1, you have this idea. What would you have done differently?
With hindsight,
obviously.
When I started it, I was like, should I go B2C or B2B? Fundamental question. My base philosophy is you can't do both. Many companies say, we do B2C and B2B. And when we get to the investor part, if any wealth tech tells you they do both, that is a challenge at the beginning. Later stage, you can do it. What would I do differently? So right from the beginning, I'm a sales guy, I'm not a builder. So let's get this right out there. My joke about my building capabilities is, I know tech, I can even spell API.
Yep.
Like that's what I tell people. I know how to spell API. And the reason I say that is business leaders don't know tech. So I know enough tech to sell to them, but I can't build. And I think what I would probably do differently is when I started Bamboo, I had nothing. I had a wireframe of what a digital wealth journey should look like. And I went out to clients and I sold it. I had built nothing. So I sold, then I built. In hindsight, what happened was the client dictated a lot of what I built. Because I want to say I'm good enough at sales. I'm good enough at sales without sounding egotistical. I was able to sell before, within the first few months, I had $250,000 revenue with nothing. But then we had to build what they want. So if I go back, I should have built what I believed in, because I think that's the long-term play. Build I mean, I can never say build first and sell later. I can't help myself.
Yeah.
But I sold totally, then I built. And I think what the legacy of that was that the product that we built was really determined by the client and what they wanted. And it's not that they were wrong, but it took us down these winding paths.
Right.
I didn't have that pure single focus.
Yeah.
That was the main problem.
Did you, thank you. This was a very honest answer.
Sure.
On this path, when you sold first and built later, how often do you think entrepreneurs are underestimating the complexity of dealing with an enterprise customer like a bank?
All day long. All day long. And we're going to get into the sales. My magic superpower of being 58 means I've sold enterprise for 30 years.
Yes.
I understand that it is ridiculously hard to do enterprise sales if you don't know the game. What is the game? The reality of the game is that it's just somebody in the bank's got to make a decision, but not one person, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's different people. And I see so many startups go, yeah, I know this person and they're a decision maker. I'm like, you think there's one decision maker in an enterprise? Do you understand how many people you have to affect, how you have to sell it? I'll give you one very simple example. I will ask a startup, hey, show me your deck. They're like, yeah, here's the deck. I'm like, and when a client asks you for a proposal, what do you send? Or what? I'm like, they send the deck. I'm like, yeah, okay, I know you're going to lose. Because I would never send a deck to a client. I mean, I have, but what we would send is, if a huge bank asked, I would create a deck just for them. This is a massive enterprise client.
Yeah.
You need to create something that you've put thought and effort completely into them. So because I know how to enterprise sell, when in the early days when we didn't have much, I knew how to show a client. And it's not smoke and mirrors. I just knew how to talk to them to say, we are currently building.
Yeah.
We know where we're going. And I think we understand where you want to go. And there's a very famous book called Gap Selling by Keenan. And gap selling is that people only buy something if they want a different future state.
Right.
So if you are entirely happy in your present state, you never buy anything.
Yeah.
So if you're hungry, you buy food. If you're bored, you buy Netflix. And if you want an airplane ticket, if you want to go somewhere, an airplane ticket. When I met these banks, I'm like, tell me about your wealth problem. They're like, customers can't be onboarded. I'm like, so if we could put you in a place where customers could be onboarded, pure digital wealth, they were happy, would you want to be in that place? That's sales. Yes. I bring everyone in enterprise into that future. I fill the gap and they are like, let's go. But I think many startups underestimate that.
We are going to go down this rabbit hole in our third part.
Of course.
Growth. Great. So essentially, we are reconstructing this journey and reconstructing the challenges from an entrepreneurial side. You sold before you built. You underestimated the complexity. Because Ned, what I want to happen after this episode is somebody should watch this part.
Yeah.
And they should say, oh, you know what? Am I making the same mistake? Ned, who's 25, 30 years into the industry, is telling me, don't sell before that. Don't do this. Now, I have been on the sidelines. So guys, when Ned was selling to all these big banks, I must tell you this. This is a very interesting thing. I was so junior, I was not allowed to be in those meetings.
Look at you now.
No, thank you. So Ned was selling to all these big banks. I don't want to name them because, it will... And I said, can I attend this meeting? They're like, no, it is for all senior people. I'm like, okay, just let me know how it goes. I will love to learn. So, and this is why this episode is so, intriguing. So now we have gone to that part. And now you are saying yes to a lot of requests that are coming in. In hindsight, and you're already saying you should have built the product first, you should have had your own vision, etc. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs do this. They don't say no enough to client requests. A lot of firms do this. Salespeople, a lot of product people, etc. And so talk to us about that. How would have things been different if you said no to all these different requests? Will you still be able to win that client, do you think?
Now we're talking how to fix WealthTech.
Yeah.
Okay, this is going to sound a little direct.
Please.
Why would a startup listen to a bank about what to build when the startup's job is only to build that thing.
But you did exactly that.
I understand, because at the time, you want revenue. Why do you want revenue? So the VCs fund you, so you can show growth, so you can win logos. Here's the reality. With no disrespect to anybody who works at a large institution, you're not working in that institution because you know how to build a wealth tech startup. Because if you did, you would be. So why is it your requests that determine what we build? Because the relationship is based on the client knows what they want. Really? If you knew you want, you would have built it. You don't know. Why does a startup say yes? We need revenue. Why do we need revenue? To survive. This is the gap in wealth tech, why it's broken. We have this mismatch, and we'll talk about it later on, how to fix that. And I have ideas how to fix it. What would we have happened if we had said to certain of these clients, we're not doing that, we only have this? More likely than not, we would not have got that deal. If we don't get that deal, we don't get that funding. We don't get that funding, we don't grow. Given where we ended up, maybe that would have been the right path, and we never grew. But there was this fundamental wealth tech problem that most people don't know. We're all guessing to a degree.
Yes.
But if we're all guessing, who would you put your money on? The startup people who spend all day sweating their hearts out to guess and build what is right? Or the person, and again, I'm not saying this with any, the person at the bank is bad. We're all good humans.
Yeah.
Or somebody who's got 100 other jobs to do and is building wealth tech as well. You would always bet on this person, right?
Yeah.
But this person has the money, so you have to do what they say. And if you don't, so this contradictory part is at the heart of the challenge.
I absolutely agree. And now we are going to go deeper into this. And this episode is going to get more raw and more direct. Guys, strap in or, log out. So you are admitting this was the problem because you now you have raised 21 million,
over the course
of, there would have been rounds, etc. So in earlier rounds, you got seed, etc. You have to prove yourself. Now you get to a Series A, Series A is serious money, and stuff. And you're now going to these investors. Fintech is bubbling right now. What were 2 or 3 red flags that you missed?
The biggest red flag is that a large proportion of our revenue was non-recurring. We got implementation revenue. For people out there listening to in wealth tech, it's incredibly hard to get recurring revenue, but investors only want recurring. And we told the investors what it was at, but the red flag that we missed was we ourselves were truly not building a scalable business. As I look back, and that sucks to say, but if I look back from now, we were building, in essence, a services business with a product base.
Yeah.
What we thought we were building was a product business.
Yeah.
With some services over the top. And the biggest red flag is it a red flag? But the reality is that, and I want to caveat this, I just want to say something now, and this is not, woe is me, but I just want to say this. I have a basic philosophy in life. If you're the captain of a ship and it sails home triumphantly from a voyage, it was the crew. If you sink at sea, it was the captain. I'm not saying woe is me, but I'm not blaming anyone else. I have a real belief in extreme ownership.
Yeah.
It is on me. But what is the red flag that I missed is that in the moment, I kept looking at my product thinking, this is great. But if I look really critically, a lot of our revenue was the implementation revenue. And that doesn't fix wealth tech, because what you're building, I hope I can use this word, is like a bastardization of what you thought, because you need the money. So you end up with all of these wealth tech little Frankenstein bits of code that plug onto your main piece.
Yeah.
And as you have little extra bits of code for this bank and that bank, you need people to service that.
Yeah.
So you hire more services people, but you're not charging enough for the services because God forbid you're a services company. And then the VCs are like, you're a services company. Let's get out of here. And this is the wealth tech to escape this gravitational pull of building something that works, that clients will pay for, that is a single code base. That takes real skill.
Yeah. Ned, thank you for being so honest, because I'll tell you, this is not a challenge which is unique to Bamboo or you.
I know that.
Yeah. And I followed your journey so closely,
sure.
maybe too closely. People will be like, what was this guy doing? So you're right. What has happened is fundamentally somewhere in the journey, what has happened is customers are asking you to do a lot more. Now you're customizing for each customer. It is becoming a services business. And, a true product business has to be a multi-tenant architecture. And, I remember you guys running into this. A lot of people have run into this. And I remember, your CTO's post. I need somebody who wants to build, knows how to build a multi-tenant. No joke, nothing, a pure multi-tenant. Multiple customers can come into it that right. Unfortunately, what happens in this scenario with SaaS players is because customers are driving them to do so much more customization, your resources are going into the managing those customizations rather than this.
Yes, sir. Yes, they are.
My memory is so sharp. I cannot. I don't know how I remember these things.
But you are spot on, and we knew the path. I could see the path, and we did build it. And I'll tell you as we get to the end of the story.
Yeah,
I'll tell you an interesting part of it. I could see it, and oh my God, you nailed it. The people we put on the product, and again, I don't want to blame the client asked for customization. I could have said no, but I said yes. So then I would take my developer off the product, put him on the customization because it would trigger a payment. More payment means more bills paid. And I could see it. It's like his cloudy vision. Just there. Nothing against Singapore, but how many people here truly know how to, and this is 2017, 18, 19, know how to build a true multi-tenant WealthTech solution? Can I ask one more question? How many people in Singapore truly have built a multi-tenant? And just for people who are not tech like me, this means a single code base. Think of a Salesforce or a Xero or any tech stack that we're all using on the same code base. There's hardly anybody that's done that, and not blaming them. We could have doubled down. And I remember one time I was sitting there. We just raised a lot of money, and I was chatting with the people. I'm like, should we just shut down all of our custom clients? Just go all in on the product. We have money now. And I wasn't brave enough, man.
It is hard. Building true multi-tenancy is hard. I'm having some conversations, can't disclose much, but building true multi-tenancy is a really, really hard problem to solve without, with data protection laws, with everything, without losing functionality, etc. It requires you to think of it as a ground-up problem. You can't take legacy and then, somehow figure out how this will be multi-tenant. You're right. There is a skill gap. Not only in Singapore, it is a wider gap. I'm trying to solve this problem for...
It's a huge problem.
Yeah, it is a huge problem. True multi-tenancy is not well understood, and clients are asking you for customizations. You're not saying no. Investors want you to be a SaaS, recurring revenue, which is not coming in. And this brings me to a slight fork here.
Mm-hmm.
Lot of times, and I've been on the sales side of it on fintechs, I feel like fintechs or wealth techs, whoever who are selling to enterprises, they have this chip on their shoulder and they're trying to be cheaper, faster, better, all of it at the same time. Talk to us about that. What do you... You're smiling. You are agreeing.
I'm smiling ruefully, if I may say. It's such a complex topic. I want to be cheaper, faster, better. Don't we all, right? I want to win deals. Don't we all? But that's not the reality of building great tech. It's not.
Yeah.
And how do you price something that you get paid? Everyone knows you can't... You can have faster and better, but it costs money, right? You know how it is, right? To be able to do it. But you are in this washing machine. You're in this tumbling cycle that there's one thing a startup must not do is run out of money. I know that because we did. If you run out of money, that is end game, right? There's no more discussion to be had.
Yeah.
End of the day. There's two ways to get money. You can either get investor money or clients can pay you. Of course, client money is always better. To come to your thing, if you build a core product that works, you can be successful. And I would like to point people to Altruist in the US. Jason Wenk, one of the great WealthTech people, has built something outstanding.
Love the guy, by the way. I want him to be on the episode when I go to the US.
He has done, and I'm sure it's been hard. He has done what he set out to do. Now, he's raised hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm not saying therefore it's easy. Plenty of people who raised $100 million got nowhere. But the cheaper, faster, better mentality. And when we get onto the third part of this, I'm going to pretend I'm a client and I'm going to speak as a WealthTech person at a bank. And I think I know how to fix it. But it's such a quandary because when you're sitting in the middle of the noise, all you want to do is win clients and get deals and grow and build what you think is right. But there's this noise. One client says this, one client says that. You yourself say something else. And I think that's the problem with WealthTech. We are a new industry. Everyone's learning to a degree. And yeah, when we get onto the segment about banks, please, banks, don't ask for it cheaper. Like
we are going to go in that. You are going to get a much bigger canvas to do this. So essentially, and I'm sorry for stopping you because I want you to go very, very deep into that now.
Okay, yeah.
Essentially, see, Ned, the challenge lies in the business models also that entrepreneurs are picking. And guys, listen, I am telling you from the bottom of my heart, I've been an entrepreneur, I've been in fintechs, etc. And it is such a hard journey. But what's happening is poor choice by one player or one entrepreneur makes it difficult for everyone.
Sure, yeah.
And let me explain why. Let's say there are 6 wealth tech players out there who are competing for the same business. One goes and says, I'll customize this for you. The other one goes and says, I'm going to do this for you. And the third person goes and says, you know what? You pay me when you give me an AUM share. Pay me on your AUM. Essentially, the client bundles that offer and throws it towards a player like Bamboo, who's trying to build a product. Now he has to customize. Now you have to deliver what they are looking for. And you have to deliver it on a business model where you are carrying the risk. So talk to us about these business model decisions that you would have taken differently. You were also in a revenue share agreement with...
Actually, no.
Oh, you're not?
Well, a couple of clients. But I think, honestly, super important. Our business model was we charged for customization. And when the client went live, we actually got a per user. So we didn't, rev share, yes.
Rev share or
not so much of AUM. We got a per user fee.
But see, Ned, it is the same thing.
Revenue share. Yeah,
what you are doing is you're essentially taking the risk of their books. So you have this bank with 100 billion of assets who has now risked this whole project to you and your firm, which has had 21 million.
You have nailed it. I remember sometimes just staring into the abyss going, hold on, so I'm not going to name the bank. I'm paying for your project?
Yeah.
What? So our business model was we would charge a setup customization fee. Now, when we started the business, I'm going to be very open here, we would charge $50K, right? To build a WealthTech solution. Even though we knew it would cost us a few $100,000, because we would win the logo, we would get business. Then we increased it to 100,000 as the years went on, 200, $500,000. There are other players in the space who charge 3 to 5 million to do a WealthTech. Here's the bit I missed. When we would charge a few $100,000 to do a customization, that was risk because we weren't making margin. Indeed, we often lost on that.
Yeah.
Believing that when it went live, we would get lots of AUM and lots of revenue. But what happens if it didn't go live? We then had risk up here at one end, at the integration, and risk on the other end, right? Now, as I said, we agreed to the deal, so we have to stay with it. And I remember one time looking at, I'm like, so hold on. I have risk at the beginning and risk at the end? Okay, this is dumb. Like, this is not going to solve it. And at one point, I remember I phoned the bank and I was just super honest. I'm like, guys, we're carrying I'm literally now paying my people to build your WealthTech platform. And they're good people. They said, Ned, it's what you agreed and I don't have any more budget. And they didn't. They weren't trying to be hard about it. They're like, did you sign that deal? Yes. And we have no more budget till next year. So you have to build it. I'm like, yeah, but I'm literally paying out of our pockets to build your robo. And therein, so I have risk up front. And here's the crazy piece. For some clients, when it went live, they went, again, we were building these wealth management systems that allow people to invest. They said, we've decided not to market it. Now, I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying a reality.
Yeah, it is. This is this reality.
And so it goes live and no one uses it.
Yeah.
And then we have to maintain it. So we try to increase our revenue. Look, we got to 3-4 million of revenue a year. So we got somewhere. We would put in minimum monthly fees, but that's just scraping the bottom to keep you alive.
Yeah.
But that is what's broken in the WealthTech business model. If you are taking risk up front as an entrepreneur and risk at the other end, you're going to get a beating. We had some projects that worked super well because we figured it out. We charged a lot and we time boxed the implementation.
Yep.
And we said to them, you must market it and let's go live and let's use it. Why would you build tech you're not going to use?
Yeah.
But in the early days, we're like, I use this phrase. I used to say, you give me $1, I'll dance however you like, right? You tell me what to build, I'll build it. And I remember one time I built for a very early client. And I remember saying the product guy said to me, he's like, Ned, this is crap. No one's going to use this. I'm like, I know, but the client paid us. He's like, just to be clear, no one's going to use this.
Yep.
And it went live and no one used it. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. We are going to get into that second part, and then no one wants to use it when we talk about, that whole digital transformation playbook. And then, I'm sitting here and I'm seeing how step by step, you are getting driven in a corner.
I drive myself. I always put the point.
You can say drive yourself.
I took myself to the corner. Yep.
My sense is, see, Ned, with all your energy and all your power, it is the ecosystem. The ecosystem needs to do better.
Yeah, I agree with that as well.
Yeah, because otherwise we will not have challengers.
Sure.
We will not have bamboos. We will not have bamboo has inspired hundreds of people to be in WealthTech. I'm the living example of it, right?
Thank you.
We are not going to have those people.
Yeah.
You have to go, somebody has to go and solve this problem.
100%.
Why is there no true multi-tenancy talent in the scale we needed? Because not enough people are solving for it. So that is, so where I am seeing this from is, and I have a third party, perspective, and I'm in this seat today, and hindsight is a beautiful thing. You sold before you built. You are saying yes to things that you shouldn't have.
Correct.
You are a services business in the skin of a product business.
Correct.
And this is not only you, everyone. And you are in a revenue structure which puts all the risks at your side.
Not all, but a lot of.
But a lot of, yes. Because,
Sure. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And now your investors are expecting you to deliver recurring revenue when you are in a transactional or services business.
Mm-hmm.
How was this ever going to work out?
As I look back, I can see that, as I mentioned earlier today, in this, we weren't, as much as we believed we were building a scalable business, we had gone down the path that is not only unique to us, that we let the services revenue overtake us.
Yeah.
We did have recurring revenue. We had billions of AUM. We had hundreds of thousands of users. We had some of the world's largest clients.
Yeah.
We were desperately building great bits of tech that we wanted people to use. But in the end of the day, we did a lot of WealthTech services. Well, how is it ever going to work? I mean, I definitely have some thoughts and some ideas of how we could have made it work.
Yeah.
But at the base, the business wasn't scalable the way we built it.
Now, before I go into the second part of this, based on all of this, there is an entrepreneur out there who's building for WealthTech, who's listening to this. Tell them 2 or 3 concrete insights based on what they should be doing.
I will tell them.
They should watch this episode. They should go back. They should change the direction of 3 things. What are those 3 things?
First thing is, and this is not the 3 things, but the first thing is, there are 3 paths that you can follow in B2B WealthTech. Build a product, and people can only buy that. There's no customization. It's multi-tenant. There's a single contract. Buy it or don't.
Buy or die.
Either clients buy it. If they don't buy it, shut your company.
Yeah, exactly.
The third path, I'll come to the second in a minute. The third path is if you do customization for clients, that's fine. Charge enormous amount for the customization because there is so much risk there that if you don't charge not just 1x what it costs you, 5x what it costs you, because then you're de-risking it. Because the implementation revenue is so high that even if it doesn't go live, you're fine. Do not take the path of death. That's the path we took, which is low price implementation for a lot of customization, which expands your team into a services business where you're not quite product or you're not high cost services. That's my advice. If you find yourself in the middle path with low priced implementation for high level of customization, take a deep breath, take a step back and say to yourself, okay, I have to customize. Don't charge 50,000, charge 5 million. I know people say, well, I can't charge 5 million. You can, just say it.
Yep.
And you might get 1 or 2.
Yep.
Just say it. And then believe me, some of our competitors were charging 5. And you just have to, or believe in your product. We'll stop. The second one is that from a WealthTech perspective, keep super focused on one problem. So at Bamboo, we built an RM tool and a direct-to-client tool. If I look back on that, you can only be great at one thing. We were pretty damn good at both, but not great. Do not try to build something that has so many features and the RM can use it, the private banker can use it, and the IFA can use it, and the... Stop. Choose one war, one battle, and do that. And the last thing is, your product sucks. No one cares about your product. When you're a WealthTech, take a step back. And I don't mean your product sucks. What I mean is, I don't care about the features.
Yep.
It's benefits only. Please learn to say, for your WealthTech, in a very easy sentence, what benefit do you bring? I don't want to know how many APIs you have. I don't want to know how many features you have. We make wealth what? We give people access to what? We reduce the time that RMs spend. If you cannot tell me your feature, and I'll give you even a framework, we do what, for who, how. In 10 words, you can't tell me the benefit you bring, you're going down the wrong path.
I agree with all of that very strongly. Now, this episode is now going to get even more spicy.
Let's go.
This was all the entrepreneur.
Yep.
And this was where I was asking all of the things you were. This episode is so raw. I have actually goosebumps, guys. And I don't know how people will look at this episode, but I do feel they should look at it as a genuine attempt on our part